Muchas gracias. I feel it's unfair to make me follow Lorena Rios. So that was a remarkable presentation, and the others here. So I'm honored to be here sharing the stage with you all. Thank you. Real quick, I was invited to come yesterday morning at 7 a.m., and I accepted at 9 a.m. yesterday. So I jumped on a plane, made it here last night, so I'm happy to be here. So I'm not in the program. Real quick, I'll just introduce myself. Again, Greg Mitchell. I'm from the United States of America. I came up in national politics in the United States. I was a chief of staff to a U.S. congressman 20 years ago, if you can believe that. Since then, I've had my own government relations and lobbying firm, and I've been working on international religious freedom since 2009 or so. So about 10 years, I've been working on international religious freedom as one of my main issues that I work on. And for the last 8 years, I've been running this International Religious Freedom Roundtable, which I'll tell you about. One other note: I used to impersonate Bill Clinton, President Clinton, while I was moonlighting as a Bill Clinton impersonator while I was chief of staff to a congressman. So there you go. I had fun with that. So real quick, I'm here from Washington. I just want to lay out a vision that we're working on in Washington. And a lot of what I've heard this morning, and even on this panel, you're all doing that too, to varying degrees. And we're doing that in Washington. So I want to just start to come here and connect with you all. But here's the vision, what we're building on, because I want to bring this to you and have you bring your experiences to Washington too. But we're building I work in partnership with the State Department, the U.S. State Department, with the Secretary of State, Mike Pompeo, with Ambassador at Large for International Religious Freedom, Sam Brownback, and his International Religious Freedom team. And we're building a global movement or a global alliance to advance religious freedom for everyone, everywhere. And the centerpiece of that, there's three components to the vision. One, there's what they call a ministerial to advance religious freedom every July or so. That's just a big meeting of government ministers and civil society organizations and faith communities. So this global alliance is made up of those three elements: governments, civil society organizations, faith communities, and part of governments is parliamentarians too. So imagine those networks gathering in Washington, D.C. once a year, and you all should be there. Because from what they're building here, that's the gathering place each year. Now, in between the annual meeting, they're urging like-minded governments to organize regional religious freedom conferences, and then they're urging civil society organizations and faith communities, the NGOs, to organize multi-faith roundtables, religious freedom roundtables, policy roundtables, similar to what you've all done and what you've been doing out in the departments. So I wanted to let you know that. And so they want to do this annually, and in between each ministerial, the cycle would grow. The more regional conferences you have and the more roundtables that get set up and operating, which I'm going to tell you what the model is, the more this global movement will build, the more actors will get around the world will get involved in one effort, like one united, coordinated effort to advance religious freedom for everyone. And just real quick, this is my second trip now this year to help build this global network of religious freedom roundtables, multi-faith roundtables. I was in Nigeria last month. I'm here in Mexico today to see if I can start working with you all here in coordination. I'm going to South Korea in about a week and a half to have a first meeting there. Going to Taiwan a week after I get back from South Korea. I'm going to go to Belgium, Kurdistan, which is a region in northern Iraq. We've got Hungary and Kazakhstan in the pipeline. And that's just to name a few. Those are the first countries where there's interest. So where you can see there's interest in countries all over the world to become part of this global network. So again, I'm here hoping we can connect with you, and like you said, become part of the same team and get on the same page and start working together and start helping each other. Us from Washington and everybody, this global network we're building all over the world, and hopefully Latin America. Last week, a lot of people were in Washington for the National Prayer Breakfast. I met with representatives who were in town from Guatemala, and they're starting a new group called Estamos Unidos, and they're in 22 countries. And one of their areas of focus is religious freedom. And so they want to set up, they would love to partner with the International Religious Freedom Roundtable to set up these roundtables in all 22 countries in Latin America, starting with Guatemala, Colombia, and Argentina. So I'm very happy to be here so we can make these connections and we can all start working together. And the State Department, the Secretary of State and Ambassador Brownback would like to bring more Latin American participation into the ministerial every summer. So that's one of their goals for this July, is to increase diversity of countries by bringing more African and Latin American countries to Washington in July. So that sets the table. Now I want to just tell you real quick about this International Religious Freedom Roundtable model to see how it might be applied here. It's a practical model. You know, we've already heard some practical models that go down to the ground in your countries, but this is how we do it. It's a safe space. You know, the International Religious Freedom Roundtable is not incorporated. So what it is, it's just a safe space where representatives of all faiths get together on a regular basis, and we've been doing this for over 8 years. So it's continuous and it's ongoing. It's not just one event and everybody goes home and they don't talk again. So for the first 7 years or so, we were getting together every 2 or 3 months, every year for 7 years. And everybody's there, representatives of all the faiths and representatives from government. So you have the State Department, you have congressional offices, we have representatives of all faiths, including faiths that were in conflict with each other before they started gathering on a regular basis. So representatives of faiths that would never be in the same room together before we started doing this, because they didn't like each other, the disagreements, they couldn't get in the same room. They started coming to this table. And not only did we start, each meeting we talk about specific religious freedom situations in the world, or at home. It's at home or abroad, so it's internal and external. But you throw a specific problem on the table, and then you have a discussion with all the faiths and government to see if you can find the areas of agreement, the common cause, and multi-faith consensus. And then out of those discussions, everybody at that table, anybody is free to speak on that issue. Everybody is free to propose a multi-faith advocacy initiative and invite everyone else to opt in and work together. So what it is, it's an equal citizenship model that's inclusive because it's multi-faith, and it includes non-believers and believers, new and old, traditional, non-traditional, everything. And it's again, equal citizenship, and so everybody has a chance to participate and contribute. So, and then everybody does work together to solve these specific problems. Now, each coalition that builds to handle each specific problem is a different size, but each one is multi-faith. And what we've seen happen over the 8 years is working together in this fashion, not only talking together about problems, but working together. I've seen with my own eyes the levels of, it goes way beyond tolerance. It's much stronger than tolerance. It starts with mutual understanding and respect, but builds to mutual trust and reliance. Again, among faiths that couldn't stand each other and wouldn't talk to each other before. Now they're working together, they're friends, they go to meetings at the White House together, they go to meetings at the State Department together, they go to meetings in foreign embassies together, asking foreign governments to improve their religion laws together, side by side, shoulder to shoulder. So it's a model that we can bring here, and hopefully more countries around the world will start adopting a model and replicating this model and customizing it for their specific local context, but becoming part of this network and working with us. One other thing here. Yeah, we've had over 250 organizations represented at this roundtable for the last 8 years. And real quick, Ambassador Brownback, who's the current Religious Freedom Ambassador in the U.S., he just got confirmed as ambassador a year ago. Like I said, we were meeting every 2 or 3 months. He called me and said, can you organize weekly meetings for me? As long as he's in Washington, every Tuesday at 11 o'clock, I put out the notice, and we get 100 to 140 representatives of all the different civil society organizations and faith communities coming together with the State Department, with the ambassador, and other embassies of other governments are also there at the table. But we're having these every Tuesday at 11, as long as he's in town. And so we're meeting on a weekly basis. So this dialogue It's ongoing. It doesn't stop. And it's a wonderful model, and it's much better and much stronger than just one meeting or one conference a year or something like that. So I just wanted to bring that to your attention here. And the practical effects, again, just to wrap up here, the lasting relationships are built, creating mutual understanding, respect, and trust. Practical actions are taken together as equal citizens of the same country, despite the deep theological and political differences. So this is a way we can all get along and live together. We just need more people getting involved like this. And the Roundtable itself has actually become a model of citizenship and governance in this way, not just a religious freedom dialogue space, but citizenship and governance because it's inclusive and equal citizenship, and it increases diversity. With everyone at the table, everyone has a voice in the process and an equal opportunity to participate, so nobody is alienated or marginalized, which will help with stability and security, especially in conflict zones like the Middle East. Again, we're going to go to northern Iraq to put this in. And the big challenges there, other than ISIS, is disunity, fragmentation, and infighting among the faith communities, among the citizens. We think that this model can actually help solve those three challenges, those three internal challenges, so that the international development programs and the humanitarian programs can actually start to take hold and succeed at rebuilding that zone and restoring and maintaining the religious pluralism. And so with that, I just wanted to offer and invite everybody here, to become part of this multi-faith religious freedom and policy roundtable network, plug into what we're doing with the government up in the U.S., and there was 88 governments at that ministerial last July. And I saw the seats. I was there. I saw the sign for Colombia, I think Peru and Argentina, but they didn't have strong, participation. We want, let's all go all in and have a full, strong show of force from Latin America, because you guys are doing tremendous things, and they need to know about what you're doing. They need to know about it because they can start to help spread the word. But we just want to help you and have you help us. And again, just hopefully we can all work on this on the same team and on the same page, so we can have more impact on religion policies in order to advance religious freedom for everyone, everywhere. Thank you.